This municipal course is exceptional.
It's just in better shape than it's ever been before.
This is the place to be if you really want to learn how to play golf.
You get a great course for the price.
Definitely affordable.
Great values on merchandise in the pro shop.
It's a nice, friendly atmosphere. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Great.
I can't believe this.
Someone will come.
When the next disaster strikes, will you know what to do?
Dad, I know what to do. I learned it at school. Come on.
Take the first step.
Wait!
Oh, kid, it's dangerous.
Being prepared is easier than you think.
I can't watch.
Send help.
Minutes away. Hours of fun. Explore new worlds. Grab a bite. Have a blast. Catch the fun. Stearns Wharf. Playing near you.
Some things are just plain simple, like flying in and out of Santa Barbara Airport. With 5 major airlines offering non-stop flights and one-stop connections to anywhere in the world, it's easy come, easy go. Enjoy casual and fine dining, or shop and get some work done while you wait. It's everything a big city airport can offer, in the comfort of your own backyard. Santa Barbara Airport. Easy come, easy go.
Hi, I'm Becky Davis with City TV, and welcome to Inside Santa Barbara, the city's only news magazine show. We bring you up to date on the city's most significant issues, projects, and events. Santa Barbara is currently experiencing the 3rd driest consecutive year on record. The City Council recently responded by declaring a Stage 2 drought. What does that mean for you? City TV has the story.
So with that, all in favor?
Aye.
Great. Thank you very much.
A Stage 1 drought was declared in February, asking for a 20% voluntary reduction of water usage by water customers throughout the city. Unfortunately, due to continued dry weather, the city declared a Stage 2 drought on May 20th.
The Council of the City of Santa Barbara declaring a Stage 2 drought condition and establishing water use regulations to be effective during a Stage 2 drought condition.
So Stage 2, it basically raises the level of concern. I mean, Stage 1 is kind of a warning, hey, we're concerned, and we actually declared that in February, on February 11th, which is right in the middle of our, typical rainy season. So we had some concerns going into that. The Stage 2 for us has really taken it to the next level. We've been looking ahead at our water supplies. We are very concerned about next year. And so we're going to be asking the community for a mandatory 20% reduction in their water usage.
Stage 2 involves mandatory restrictions on water use. This includes no watering of outdoor hard surfaces. It includes all hoses are required to have a shutoff nozzle. There's restrictions on the hours of day that you can irrigate. There's restrictions on operation of ornamental fountains, and all pools and spas are required to have covers when not in use. And there's a number of other restrictions as well that are on our website.
Fortunately, the city plans for drought conditions in our water supply strategy, outlined in the city's long-term water supply management plan.
So the city has a long-term water supply plan and also a water shortage contingency plan. And basically how that plan works is once it stops raining and our reservoirs are full, we start the clock. And that happened in 2011, and we started the clock while the reservoirs were full, and we kept monitoring those. And we are currently in year 3. And with year 3 comes our plan has several things that we start to implement. And moving into stage 2, there are certain conditions that we want to get the community thinking about with reducing their water usage. We are looking at restarting the desalination plant. We have taken some of our capital projects, our routine capital projects, put those on hold while we start some drought-related projects which are focused on our wells and work up at Gibraltar actually to drill some silt wells to tap into water that's in the bottom of the dry reservoir.
Currently, the city's surface water supplies are severely reduced in capacity, with Lake Cachuma at 37%, Gibraltar Reservoir at 35%, and the State Water Project deliveries projected at 5%. To augment surface water supplies, the city's planned additional drought water supplies include local groundwater, water purchases, and possibly the desalination plant that is currently in long-term storage.
We are starting to ramp up our use of alternate supplies. We're ramping up groundwater use, and we're using available state water that was in storage from previous years. We're also pursuing additional water purchases and have initiated study and preliminary design of our desal plant. However, we are projecting shortages for next year if the drought condition continues.
If dry weather continues into next year, the city would consider moving to a Stage 3 drought condition.
The city has an adopted water shortage contingency plan, and there are 3 stages of drought response. So we just recently declared a Stage 2 drought condition. A Stage 3 drought condition would be triggered by a worsening of the supply condition or the need for more aggressive reductions in demands. And if we see extraordinary conservation now, it can help delay or eliminate the need to go to a Stage 3.
We have no water to waste. The easiest way for city water customers to reduce water usage is in their landscape.
So Santa Barbara residents have always done a great job at conserving water because water conservation is a way of life here on the South Coast. But in times of drought, we're really looking for extraordinary water conservation where people go above and beyond just the everyday behaviors of water conservation. Because what we need right now is a 20% reduction in water use citywide, but we're asking people that have gardens that are watering them to reduce more than 20%.
Fortunately, there are many simple ways that residents and businesses can save significant amounts of water in their landscape.
The best ways people can reduce their water use by 20% or more is first to check for any leaks, because we have no water to waste at this point. Many households have silent leaks that you aren't sure they're there until you really investigate. One of the best ways to look for leaks is to use your meter. Read the meter and then maybe go away for about an hour, don't use any water, and come back. And if water has gone through the meter without you using it, that's how you know you have a leak. We have a really good resource on our website of how to read your meter and how to use your meter to check for leaks. So I encourage everyone to do that.
In the last drought, we had a remarkable response by our local community. They cut back their water use by almost 50%. Today we're asking for 20. We're not quite there yet. We're going to keep on that message, but of course it's our most important drought water supply plan is to get the community to conserve water, and the best way to do that is cut back on your landscape irrigation.
As a community, it is crucial for us to come together during this drought and do everything possible to conserve water.
Here in Santa Barbara, about half of the water delivered to the city goes to commercial and residential gardens. So that's where a lot of the water is going in the city, and we estimate that about half of that water is actually wasted. It's not going to the plant and watering the plant. So it's getting wasted from runoff, from overspray, from broken things, from leaks. We encourage everyone to take responsibility of the water that's used on their property.
And again, we've done it before, and that's encouraged the city staff who's responsible for our water conservation effort that we can do it again. Now, obviously, most of us have implemented a lot of the indoor water conservation measures that we can, but we can all cut back on our landscape irrigation, and that's the community effort that we need to get us through the next year.
The city's water conservation program is available to help everyone save water. For assistance in evaluating water use and conservation opportunities, visit santabarbaraca.gov/waterwise or call 564-5460. With all this talk of a Stage 2 drought, being able to accurately monitor water use is more important now than ever. In our next story, we'll show you what the city is doing to improve water service to all city customers. Imagine every day, thousands of faucets turning on and off in Santa Barbara. Nearly 90,000 people accessing water on a daily basis. All of that water usage has to be monitored, which is why having accurate water meters is extremely important.
Water meters are one of the most important tools for both us as the water utility and for you as the customer, because it's our way of communicating your water usage, and it's your way of understanding how much water you're using, especially with the drought and everyone being extra conscious of water use. You can really do yourself a service by learning how to read your meter and going out and checking your usage and not having to wait until you receive your bill to know how much water you've been using.
Soon, the majority of the city's water meters will have exceeded their effective life and need to be replaced. That's why the Water Meter Replacement Program was developed, to improve system integrity, water conservation, and customer service.
Well, the city has always replaced meters, but we've done it on a more reactive basis when the meters were broken or there were some sort of other issues involved. But now we're doing an overall comprehensive program in order to standardize our meters and get the highest degree of accuracy and the greatest technology that there is available today.
We began replacing meters in April, and we are now in full deployment. We are targeting about 25 meters to replace per day. We've been doing other maintenance needs, such as replacing meter boxes and customer valves, and reaching out to the public extensively through Nextdoor, the social networking site, bill messaging, and also through door hangers, which we put on the community's doors after the meter's been replaced, and letting them know what they should expect with their new meter.
Throughout the next 5 years, the city will be replacing over 23,000 water meters citywide. These replacements will be completed in phases, coordinated with meter reading routes.
The typical replacement will take less than an hour, and staff will knock on your door to see if you're home. They'll check the meter to make sure no one's using water, and then they'll proceed with the replacement if everything is looking like it could go as scheduled. You know, should they identify anything that might be problematic, they would then try to schedule some follow-up with the customer and plan for the replacement.
Each of the meters that we're installing come equipped with the barcode on them, and so we are utilizing these barcodes in the field and putting them on the sheets for the meter sets, and then we're using scanners to download the data into the billing system as a way to eliminate errors. And we're also utilizing the barcodes in the field by going out and verifying all of the meter installations once they're completed.
Generally, once the meters are replaced, I go back into the field where they replace the meters, and I meter track for verification and GPS all the meter replacements and maintenance replacements that we've done. We want to make sure that we're billing our right customers and that we don't get the meters mixed up. Also, GPSing helps us map out our work and see what replacements we've done and what maintenance we've also taken care of.
When the installation is complete, staff will leave a door hanger notifying the resident of what was done on their property.
This one's a door hanger that notifies the customer that, hey, you have a new meter. If you have any questions, please call us. The reason why we replaced your meter is to improve your water service, and there's information on the brochure. And then for this one, this door hanger is contact us regarding your placement of the city meter because we noticed some plumbing issues on your side. We would like to arrange an appointment with you to discuss the plumbing issues and see if we can make something work. If we're not notified in 7 days, then we follow up with a letter to them that's mailed, and after that, if they don't answer, then we have to call.
When selecting a manufacturer, the city completed a competitive bid process and was able to procure a product known for its durability, accuracy, and easy readability.
So what you'll see here is a dial and a register. The white numbers indicate your usage that you're getting billed for. The dial would spin around much like the odometer on your car, and the small blue dial, if it's moving, would indicate a leak.
All of the meters are tested by the manufacturer before they leave the factory. They test them for low, medium, and high flows, and that information is actually put onto each meter that we receive, and if the meters do not meet the manufacturer's specifications, they don't ship them. In addition, we are taking 10% of the meters that we pull, and we are testing them for accuracy as well to help us with our long-term meter maintenance program.
These new meters will help equip residents to accurately monitor their usage, which benefits the entire community, especially during a drought.
So if you are, watching your water use and you read your meter and you're finding that your water use is greater than what you would expect, you can call the Water Conservation Hotline at 564-5460 to schedule a water checkup, and someone will come out to your property and help you identify the cause for the increased water use.
For more information on the city's water meter replacement program, visit santabarbaraca.gov/water meters or call 564-5413. Stay tuned, we'll be right back with more Inside Santa Barbara.
Meet the most fascinating man in the world. When droughts happen, water experts go to him for water-saving actions. His front lawn requires no water because he replaced it with water-wise plants. He only works 2 days a week, and so do his sprinklers. He uses so little water, overwatered plants seek refuge in his yard.
I know a lot about saving water, but when I want to know more, I go to waterwisesp.org. Let's save together, my friends.
Beginning in May, the City of Santa Barbara's new shopping bag ordinance goes into effect.
Time to bag up.
No more plastic bags at stores that sell groceries, and each paper bag will cost you 10 cents.
What bag are you going to use today? Today's the day Santa Barbara gets off plastic, so it calls for a special bag.
Really? No more plastic. I just paid 10 cents a piece for these paper bags.
Here, have one of mine.
Bring your own bag. It's smooth.
Welcome back. Arroyo Burro is one of Santa Barbara's most beloved beaches, but it has consistently had the most water quality warnings of any beach in the county. You might think that's because it's a popular dog beach, but as City TV's Chris Bell shows us, some new cutting-edge research is revealing there's more to the story.
Arroyo Burro Beach. Scenic vistas of the Channel Islands, a great place to watch sunset, and one of the few public places dogs can be off-leash. But for years, there's been an asterisk to Arroyo Burro's otherwise stellar reputation: water quality.
Arroyo Burro Beach here has had a history of problems with fecal contamination. Of all the beaches that are monitored regularly in Santa Barbara County, Arroyo Burro Beach has the highest incidence of beach warnings due to elevated bacteria levels.
Last year was a pretty typical year for beach warnings at Arroyo Burro. I think there were 8. About half of those were during wet weather, when the weekly testing just happened to take place during or right after a weekend storm. And then about half of those were during dry weather. This is almost always when the lagoon is flowing, and that's allowing a lot of the indicator bacteria in the lagoon to come out into the surf zone. And the testing is done right in front of where the lagoon comes out.
The state requires weekly water quality testing at popular beaches, and Arroyo Burro has been tested for years. The tests look for fecal indicator bacteria, or FIB.
These are bacteria that are found in huge numbers in human waste, in sewage, in warm-blooded animal waste, billions of these bacteria per teaspoon of waste. And they're a vital part of our internal microflora, all the bacteria that help us digest food and process food.
If a test finds indicator bacteria levels above a certain point, A warning sign is posted.
This is really different than a beach closure. A beach closure would be marked by a red sign prominently displayed, and these are posted when it's known that there is a sewage spill or some kind of human waste getting into the swimming area, and those signs will not be removed until testing has shown that the waters are safe again to swim in.
The problem with the current tests is they can't identify a specific source of the bacteria, and therefore aren't very helpful in determining actual health risks. That's because not all fecal indicator bacteria, including that from dogs, is harmful to humans. But even though dog waste in the water is rarely a direct health threat, there is still another compelling reason to keep it out of the creeks and ocean.
Because what happens is that will mask the signal that's really intended for when we do this testing. If we've got tons of indicator bacteria from dog poop, we're not going to be able to see the signal that could possibly come from a leaking sewer pipe or something like that.
It sounds like a plot from an episode of CSI. A crime has been committed, but the evidence has been contaminated. Enter the bacteriological super sleuths from the lab of renowned scientist Patricia Holden at UCSB. Funded by a grant from the State Clean Beaches Initiative and conducted in cooperation with the City Creeks Division, the team began a new program of testing using cutting-edge methods in 2011.
We use a scientific tool called microbial source tracking, and what that allows us to do is to take samples and look for bacteria that are specific to the feces of different sources. So we're looking at bacteria, for instance, that are specific to dog feces.
The new program studied not just the ocean water, but also the entire watershed. The results were surprising.
One of our hypothesized sources was dogs, of course, because Arroyo Burro Beach is a very popular dog beach where everybody brings their dogs. So we expected actually to see some evidence of dog fecal contamination in the surf zone, and that's what we saw. What was very interesting is what we didn't expect was that we saw it coming out of the lagoon. When that lagoon was flowing, breaching to the surf zone, that's actually when we saw the highest levels of the dog bacteria and those fecal indicator bacteria in the surf zone. So the lagoon breaching was having a large impact on bacteria levels in the surf zone. We then traced that contamination through the lagoon and found elevated levels of the dog marker that we were using, as well as the indicator bacteria, coming from Arroyo Burro Creek, which was totally unexpected for us. Looking at potential sources in Arroyo Burro Creek, we then had a couple of theories. One was that domestic dogs living in the homes right adjacent to Arroyo Burro Creek could be inputting dog waste into the creek. And also there could be wild animals, wild canines, coyote and fox also live in that area, and those could be contributing.
The results were particularly striking because the research team found the waste from just one dog could be enough to trigger a beach warning. Armed with this knowledge, the Creeks Division devised an outreach program targeting neighborhoods bordering lower Arroyo Burro Creek.
And then we just rang every doorbell and talked with people, asked them how many pets they had, how they took care of the pet waste, and whether they could talk to anyone else in the neighborhood about how they take care of their pet waste. So we did that, and then they came back and sampled 5 more times. And they got really strong results suggesting that the outreach conducted had dropped the amount of dog marker reaching the creeks.
The impacts of the successful outreach go beyond clarifying what is actually affecting water quality at Arroyo Burro Beach.
It shows us that if we expand that education, expand it to other areas along the creeks, this was done along a short section of the creek. So if that's expanded to other areas along the creeks, as well as around the lagoon here, and further expanded education at the beach, where we know dogs are having an impact also, then that could really have a watershed-wide impact here at Arroyo Burro and at other beaches in the county and all over.
What's really powerful about the study showed that no matter where we were, whether it was outreach conducted down on the beach or outreach conducted along a lagoon or in this neighborhood, we have the power to influence people's behavior to change, and that can actually lead to a measurable change in water quality. And I think that's one of the first times that that's been shown.
The next phase of the study will look to determine what happens to the bacteria once it's in the lagoon. In the meantime, researchers remind us that the power to improve water quality is in all of our hands.
It doesn't matter how close to the actual ocean or creek you are. If you're letting stuff run off of your grass, or you're kicking something into the gutter or kicking it into the storm drain, it's going to reach the creek and ocean and lead to worse water quality. So we can all change our behaviors to improve water quality.
For more information about the study, visit sbcreeks.org. Traffic safety issues have always been a hot topic for discussion in Santa Barbara. In our next story, we'll tell you how the city and community work together to make our streets safer for everybody.
The challenge for the city of Santa Barbara, for Public Works, is how do we use the very little amount of resources and finances that we have to get the highest gain or lower the accident or collision rates the most?
Residents really look to us for transportation solutions and policies. At the same time, we really depend upon residents to give us their thoughts and feelings when it comes to motorist and bicycle and pedestrian safety. They're really our eyes and ears.
It takes time and money to do all this stuff, and we want to be as efficient as we can with public resources and focus on what the problem is and really try to address that problem.
Santa Barbara has a complex transportation system with many different users: autos, buses, bicycles, delivery trucks, pedestrians, motorcycles and scooters, skateboards, segways, and tour buses. This diverse range of users can create challenges for traffic engineers, residents, and visitors. Much of the downtown street system was designed over 160 years ago, when horse and buggy was the predominant mode of travel. Over the years, it has proven difficult to modify old streets to better adapt to modern modes of travel. In addition, the California Department of Traffic Safety 2010 collision data, comparing 103 California cities of similar size, ranked Santa Barbara 9th out of 103 for the highest number of traffic-related injuries.
We do have a lot of challenges in the city. Part of it has to do with we attract a lot of people here. We're a destination, so we have a lot of people coming into the city that don't necessarily live here. So our daytime population, whether it's commuters from Ventura County or people vacationing in Santa Barbara, we have a lot more people using our streets than similar sized cities as well. So it would stand to reason that we do have more collisions for a city of our size than would be expected.
The city takes a methodical approach in an effort to reduce the number of collisions and make our streets safer.
A lot of times the public doesn't understand traffic safety. They see collisions happening. Recently, a crossing guard got hit in a crosswalk, crossing a child. What we're doing is we're using the small amount of money that we have and resources we have, and we're methodically visiting all the locations based on the collision record, all the locations, the high collision locations in the city, and one by one, starting with the highest, going through that network of streets and saying, what can we do to make sure that these reoccurring collisions can be ended, eliminated?
We use traffic collision data in helping us develop projects and as well prioritize projects. We do want to focus our resources to the locations where we are going to have the biggest impact. So we bring down those number of crashes and reduce the chance that people are going to get hurt and injured.
Depending on the safety issue, there are different tools available to reduce collisions, such as stop signs, yield signs, warning signals, and traffic signals. Also, roadway features like limiting parking, visibility issues caused by overgrown vegetation, and roadway markings can also be used to improve safety. Traffic engineers are very careful to apply the right solution to each problem. The wrong solution can result in unintended consequences. For example, traffic signals and stop signs can increase the number of rear-end collisions, so there must be an overall benefit to traffic safety when installing these devices. A recent example of how the city reduced collision rates using one of these traffic safety tools is the new signal at the Carrillo and Anacapa intersection.
A lot of our traffic signals in the downtown area are what we call side-mounted. There is no mast arm. The intersection of Carrillo and Anacapa is larger than most of our downtown intersections. So when you get those traffic signal indications off to the side, it makes it harder to see for drivers. And so what was happening is there was a very consistent broadside collision pattern at that intersection. It was consistently between 10 and 12 a year for as far back as we can tell in our records. About a year ago, the city completed improvements adding a traffic signal mast arm over the intersection, and as well upgrading the traffic signal lenses from 8-inch to 12-inch. And since that was completed in May of 2013, we haven't had one collision.
50 more intersections are to follow the Carrillo-Anacapa example when the city replaces the old 8-inch traffic signal lights with new 12-inch LED lights.
It's all about improved visibility. The 12-inch lenses have twice as much surface area as the 8-inch lenses. You can see them from further away, and they're brighter. So the further in advance we can let drivers know what they're supposed to be doing, and the more noticeable that we make our traffic signals, the more likely they are to stop and stop in time.
In addition to the higher visibility traffic signals, countdown timers are being installed at 9 more intersections around the city. These timers not only benefit pedestrians, but other modes of transportation as well, letting drivers and cyclists know when the signal will change. Santa Barbarans are famous for getting passionately involved in local issues, and traffic safety and transportation projects are no different. Ideally, a resident's traffic concerns at a certain location align with the collision data that support an action to improve safety. But this isn't always the case. Public works staff may need to prioritize solving a reoccurring collision problem over individual requests. With limited amounts of funding, prioritization is even more important.
In the city of Santa Barbara, we all have opinions about transportation. Why is that? Because it's an intimate form of our lives. We're all driving around, riding around, or walking, or taking the bus. One of the challenges of our job is to take all those opinions and somehow weave the perfect solution, or the consensus solution that satisfies most of the needs. But then all the while is eliminating this existing collision record that we have and making the city safe.
In the end, it all comes back to improving safety on our streets, on our sidewalks, and in our neighborhoods, and using the funding and staff resources available to meet the community's expectations for a safe and efficient transportation system.
So what we do is we take the input from the public, which is so valuable, the eyes and the ears on the street, and we combine that information with the collision record that we have. The first and foremost goal we have to have is to eliminate the collisions that we believe will reoccur. And then if we can combine that with the requests we're getting, oftentimes we'll have a real good win for the public where they can see more positive yielding happening at a crosswalk, or having an easier time of crossing, or having speeds actually be reduced. But we're looking for that synergy so that we're continually moving forward to a safer city.
We want all modes of travel to get around safely. When we're doing an investigation at an intersection, we are considering all modes. How pedestrians are getting across the street, how bikes are moving through an intersection, how vehicles are moving through an intersection. And if the collision history indicates that there's a recurring pattern of some type, we want to correct that. And we want to do so that in such a way that we're not reducing capacity, but in fact we're enhancing everybody's movement through the intersection.
Future grant-funded traffic safety projects include crosswalk enhancements at many locations around the city, including this one at State Street and Calle Palo, Colorado. Santa Barbara's infrastructure has been around for over 150 years, which means many of our public buildings, recreation centers, streets, and roadways are in need of significant capital improvements and repairs. Up next, we take a closer look at our city's infrastructure. Infrastructure. It is the foundation of modern society and a crucial element for any prosperous city. Even in today's digital world, we still need brick and mortar facilities and roads and bridges to connect them together. But like a car, infrastructure needs regular maintenance, and that costs money. And just like a car, if you don't spend money to maintain it, it'll cost you more money to fix it down the road.
If you keep not taking care of something long enough, all of a sudden the whole system breaks down.
And that is where our city's infrastructure stands. Whether it's the condition of streets,
our city streets are in a state of declining repair.
Parks and recreation facilities.
We have
probably on the order of 20 or 30 capital improvement projects that have been deferred.
Or our public safety buildings.
Just having a computer has been a challenge here.
Our current building is nearly 60 years old, and when it was originally built, it was built for a department that was about a third of the size of the current Santa Barbara Police Department.
The reasons for the decline are many. A sluggish economy has meant lower tax receipts. Since most of the materials for road repair are petroleum-based, higher oil prices have meant increased costs.
Also, pavements have been deteriorating at a faster rate than the funding sources have been provided. And so the combination of the two factors means that we are losing ground on our pavement conditions. The bulk of the money that is being spent now is on collector and arterial roads, which are the main roads within our city. It's important to keep those up as they are the major traffic routes for all modes of transportation, including buses and cyclists, as well as vehicular travel. And so there is a decline in the residential road maintenance at this point in time.
The city owns and operates out of many old structures, some of which are historic, and that also presents a number of challenges.
Not only are the buildings aging and the infrastructure is aging, but building codes have changed, fire codes have changed, there's new accessibility laws. So in some cases, we've actually have to close facilities to public use because we can't meet those codes anymore.
Our 911 center is in the basement of the building, and of course when the building was originally created there was no dispatch center. Our building predates the concept of a modern dispatch facility. So we had to shoehorn a dispatch center into the police facility that we have right now, and unfortunately that means they're in the basement of the facility. The building does not meet seismic standards.
This station's been here since 1951 and really has had very, very minor upgrades since then. The fire service has really evolved and changed quite a bit since then, just the demographics with, no longer is it all male crews, and then that's the way the station is designed.
Infrastructure funding also took a hit with the loss of the Redevelopment Agency. The RDA is well known for funding popular projects like the brick sidewalks on State Street, but it also provided capital for crucial infrastructure like the renovation of Fire Station 1, downtown parking structures, and the Carrillo Recreation Center. For now, city departments will continue to address the highest priority projects, and sometimes only with stopgap measures. With each year that passes, our infrastructure continues to degrade, and with it, standards that have taken generations to establish. Standards that residents and visitors alike have come to expect. Standards we all deserve.
I liken it to having a critical operation being done where your doctor is a first-rate doctor, but he's operating on you in a second-rate, 50-year-old obsolete operating room. You probably wouldn't feel very good about that operation, even though your surgeon could be top-notch.
Our city takes pride in our infrastructure and in everything that we do in Santa Barbara, and so Santa Barbara being a landmark destination, we deserve to have an infrastructure that meets those needs.
We're also looking at how do we want to program it for the future? So when we're talking about infrastructure repairs, it's really for the next 30, 50, 70 years. It's not just tomorrow.
Good management requires that you take care of things as they degrade. Use causes degrading, and you just have to pay for that.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back with more Inside Santa Barbara.
Some things are just plain simple, like flying in and out of Santa Barbara Airport. With 5 major airlines offering non-stop flights and one-stop connections to anywhere in the world, it's easy come, easy go. Enjoy casual and fine dining, or shop and get some work done while you wait. It's everything a big city airport can offer, in the comfort of your own backyard. Santa Barbara Airport. Easy come, easy go.
Meet the most fascinating man in the world. When droughts happen, water experts go to him for water-saving actions. His front lawn requires no water because he replaced it with water-wise plants. He only works 2 days a week, and so do his sprinklers. He uses so little water, overwatered plants seek refuge in his yard.
I know a lot about saving water, but when I want to know more, I go to waterwisesb.org. Let's save together, my friends.
Welcome back. Santa Barbara has a long history of wildfires, the Zaca fire being the 4th largest fire in California history. As we shift into high fire season, fire agencies attempt to reach out to the community with the annual Fire Season Media Day. Jennifer Schroeder has the story.
The proximity of our rugged front country mountains and warm weather draw people to Santa Barbara. But when winds pick up and temperatures rise, the same scenic, wild beauty becomes a threat to the community. Lots of dry brush and high winds have always put Santa Barbara at risk of large, aggressive fires. In the past decade, Santa Barbara has been hit by 4 major wildfires: the Zaca fire, the Gap fire, the Tea fire, and the Hezecita fire, all of which were caused by people. They spread rapidly, burned thousands of acres, and destroyed hundreds of homes. This year, with the added threat from the drought, fire agencies expanded their annual media day to better inform citizens about what they can do to prevent and prepare for wildfires.
Well, the idea behind having a day, or Fire Media Day, is to allow the community to realize that they have several fire agencies throughout the county, being it county or cities or districts, or the Forest Service. When we get together, what we're trying to show is that we have resources that are available and coordinated before the time of the 911 call for a fire event.
Because of our fire history, Santa Barbara has made it a priority to work on cooperation between fire agencies. The Forest Service, city, county, and state agencies work together to create a safer environment for residents.
Over the last several years, that cooperation has gotten better and better and better. We meet on a monthly basis, and every day we update the county chief's website, which shows who's on duty everywhere in the county, how to contact them. So our ability to communicate with each other has never been better. The spirit of cooperation has never been better. The resources deployment and orders is really clear, so everybody knows what their responsibilities are on any given day.
All the agencies, from Santa Barbara City, County, Montecito, and the Forest Service, we're working really well with one another. We communicate really well. We have a good relationship that we've built over the years. And so they're in good hands. And also they need to do their part and do their hazard reduction around their homes, especially if they're at the edge of the community, and reporting things that they see.
Although it is important for all the fire agencies to work together, fire leaders stress how vital it is for the community to be involved.
Get ready, be prepared, especially if you live in the interface and in the foothill area or up in the chaparral area. Have a plan, be ready, know what you're going to take with you, know your way out, know how to get a hold of your family.
We have to learn to live with wildland fire. It is not going away. And I think the other part of that is the message of ready, set, go. Ready, set, go is, being ready prior to a fire occurring. Set, having everything in place that if a fire occurs and you have to go, that you are ready to go.
Even with the highly trained fire agencies and the preparation of the citizens, this fire season is high risk because of the added circumstances of the state's drought.
There's a lot of things going on this particular year. It's led up with multiple years of drought. From December to February of this year, we have the greatest drought on record from the National Weather Service. Right now, the state of California is in an exceptional drought period, at least within 25% of the state. The entire county of Santa Barbara is in that area of exceptional drought. That level of drought measurement isn't used that often, and I believe in the 15-year period or beyond, they've never actually had an area in exceptional drought.
We're 50% below normal precipitation for the most part, And what that's done is created a lot of standing dead brush out there, as opposed to just dormant brush that normally happens during the summertime months. Normally, fire spread isn't so extreme and so rapid, but with the dead brush mixed in, even with high fuel moistures, we're seeing rapid rates of spread.
Because these environmental conditions have heightened the sense of danger, fire agencies are planning and training to respond to any fires quickly and attack them from every angle.
The helicopters dropping water, you know, the medium-sized helicopters or the larger, 300 to 800 gallons of water coming out of that. So it's pretty much like dropping a fire engine's load of water on the fire in one given shot. So that can help slow the spread of fire and allow the ground crews to come in with the hose lines or the hand crews, the hotshot crews cutting line to strengthen what's been kind of suppressed by those aircraft. So all alone, the aircraft can't do it. They need the ground forces to come in and finalize the firefights.
We bring on a seasonal workforce, and they usually come on around the beginning of May, and we have them staffing through November. The hotshot crew comes on, and we increase the numbers on all of our engines, and that's how we respond to the summer conditions.
With the combined efforts of fire agencies and the citizens of Santa Barbara, fire agencies hope to limit the risk of devastating wildfires in an effort to keep the city safe.
We all have to work together on that. Everybody has their place, everybody has their role that's needed during a wildland fire, and the community is part of that.
For more information about the upcoming fire season and how to prepare, please visit santabarbaraca.gov/wildland. Santa Barbara today is blessed with a spectacular urban forest that is the most diverse in the state, but it wasn't always so. Up next, City TV's Chris Bell traces the dramatic greening of our city and reveals what the city is doing to maintain and enhance this incredibly valuable resource.
Apple and sycamore and all the rest, pine and vine, but I think the best is a small, quiet tree with shade all around, where you can sit on the ground with no other sound.
So I love trees, and they complete my life. They have given me a roof over my head, food on my plate, and have given life to my family who I love.
A tree is nature, a wise, quiet home for birds to sing. A tree is colorful and welcoming to others. It calls your name if you are sad or calm and need a perfect place to rest.
It's just, in a lot of ways, enchantment, especially with my children, watching them climb down and throwing the figs and being able to pick their own fruit. I love that. It's just natural play. It's not a video game.
An urban forest is the collection of all the trees and plants and landscaping that's in a community.
In Santa Barbara, that includes trees the city owns along our streets and in our parks and facilities, and those trees on private property, whether in the parking lot or in front of somebody's home or in the back of their home.
We estimate that there's about 320,000 trees in Santa Barbara. That includes both public and privately owned trees. The city has conducted a canopy cover study and estimated its tree population from that study. The study found Santa Barbara to have roughly 25% canopy cover.
Just about anywhere you are, on top of a hill looking down on Santa Barbara or at street level, looking around, you will most often mainly see trees. Trees are a vital part of what makes Santa Barbara special.
We're really fortunate here in Santa Barbara. We're living in an arboretum, we're living in a conservatory of the diversity of the world. We can walk out our door and find trees from China, trees from South America, from Africa, from Europe, all over the world, and this really brings the world to our doorstep.
The city of Santa Barbara manages over 450 different varieties of trees. The Santa Barbara Botanic Garden did a study where they asked cities throughout California how many different trees they had that they managed. And the city of Santa Barbara had the most diverse of any community in California. The next closest was Santa Monica with 350 different varieties of trees.
But as you look at pictures of the city, once photographs came into existence, there aren't any trees. Fortunately, there have been many people who have planted lots of trees.
Boyd Doremus and Orpet and Franceschi, all of these people who had an enthusiasm and love for plants and trees, and they brought them in from all of their contacts, all of their associations all over the world.
This is a community resource, a natural resource. The benefits it provides those benefits to everyone in the community. And those benefits extend from an economic standpoint to an environmental and a social standpoint.
Our urban forest, aesthetically and quality of life, number one. It's what improves our everyday living, things we take for granted. Our shade is something that helps us with pollution. It helps us with noise pollution, light pollution. They're doing a job 24/7 that makes our life livable.
It's not just individual trees or plants. Every tree or plant, every part of the urban forest is part of a miniature ecosystem that supports birds and insects and plants and animals. And having a lot of green canopy cover reduces what they call the urban heating effect, and it provides a cooling effect on streets and sidewalks and neighborhoods.
There are other things that they do that aren't so easily quantifiable, such as provide the beauty that they surround us with. They've done many studies that indicate where people have trees to look at. Say, for example, if they're in the hospital and they have a tree to look at out their window, they recover more quickly.
There's been many studies to show that crime rates are reduced when there's significant trees, so they have a calming effect.
An urban forest isn't something that you just put the trees in the ground and walk away.
Having an urban forest does take special care to make it all happen and to make it so we can have humans and trees exist in the same space. It's definitely two different things than being in a natural environment where tree limb shedding might be natural, but you can't have that over a playground.
Because the urban forest is not a natural environment, it requires more maintenance and care and management. And for that reason, the city developed an urban forest management plan. It has objectives and actions to guide management decisions on planting and the replacement of trees, on land development, on community outreach and education programs regarding trees.
The Urban Forest Management Plan is a long-term guide for the city and the community to manage trees. The goals of the Urban Forest Management Plan are to enhance and maintain our tree diversity, to encourage the community to engage in our trees and tree care, to increase the importance of trees within our community and ensure they continue to play an important role.
The city of Santa Barbara has a regular maintenance for city-owned trees. We plant trees in vacant spots when, as budget allows. So we're planning for taking care of the existing trees and planting new ones for the future. And we're doing that in ways that lengthen the life expectancy of the trees that we're required to maintain.
City staff takes care of approximately 5,000 trees per year. The other balance of trees is done by contractors. We have 6 full-time staff, aside from myself, that are in the field, pruning street trees, park trees, and trees around city facilities.
We do need to pay attention to our plantings, whether it's on private lands or on public properties. We need to replace the trees that are being lost, and we always have a turnover of trees.
I think it's important that the community knows how they can help to support the urban forest here in Santa Barbara and what we can do as ordinary people to promote the urban forest and to make sure that the trees that are here are healthy and how we can replace trees that need to be replaced.
I think we have a wonderful opportunity to participate in the trees more. I think whether or not it be at the park level with Parks and Recreation or at the neighborhood level, I mean, what a great experience. You can plant a tree and go back to it for 50 years and you know, cross your arms and say, hey, I planted this tree.
And one thing that private landowners and particularly residential homeowners can do is care for their trees. So prune them on a regular basis. Consider where they're planted so they're most effective, whether you're intending to shade your house or beautify a garden, because trees, when they're well maintained, will last a longer time, will maintain their aesthetic value, and they'll also enhance property values and enhance the neighborhood.
What I'm hoping that people who are thinking about the urban forest realize is when it comes around time for budget hearings for the city or for the county or for the state, let them know that the urban forest concept, that connecting people with nature is really important to you, and it's worth investing a small amount of limited public funds to make that happen and to keep Santa Barbara green and healthy for the long term.
We are so blessed in this community to have the urban forest that we do. I mean, as an arborist, I wouldn't want to work anywhere else in the world. I love it here.
I can't believe that I get to work in a city that has this variety of trees, that has citizenry who love trees as much as I do, and has a legacy of investment in an urban forest.
To learn more about Santa Barbara's urban forest and how you can support it, call the Parks Department at 564-5433. Well, that does it for this episode of Inside Santa Barbara. If you have any questions or comments about the show, you can give us a call at City TV at 564-5311. You can also watch the show online at citytv18.com. I'm your host, Becky Davis, and remember to get involved inside Santa Barbara.
Meet the most fascinating man in the world. When droughts happen, water experts go to him for water-saving actions. His front lawn requires no water because he replaced it with water-wise plants. He only works 2 days a week, and so do his sprinklers. He uses so little water, overwatered plants seek refuge in his yard.
I know a lot about saving water, but when I want to know more, I go to waterwisesb.org. Let's save together, my friends.
Just ignore the letter. Keep the passion. Right now. Action! Just keep moving.
I never knew it could be like this.
Cut!
I can't work like this!
Don't let litter ruin your scene. In a disaster, it's not just your needs you have to consider. All members of your family have to be ready. Don't forget the pets.
This municipal course is exceptional.
It's just in better shape than it's ever been before.
This is the place to be if you really want to learn how to play golf.
You get a great course for the price.
Definitely affordable. Great values on merchandise in the pro shop. It's a nice, friendly atmosphere.
It's absolutely gorgeous.